So my thesis project considers new transportation routes and modes for cyclists and pedestrians in New York City as an approach that both enhances mobility but also expands the existing city map through its study and use of abandoned subterranean spaces. As a design possibility, my design wants to create a space, a system for humans, or better, an adaptive environment for abandoned subterranean spaces. On average, we spend more than an hour every day under New York City. Metallic noises, dark lights, dirty walls, and phone screens are our everyday experience underground. The New York subway system carries a large number of degraded, unused, and abandoned areas such as rails, platforms, tracks, and stations. Many have fallen into disuse or have been abandoned, no longer used by the transit authority system for their original purpose, serving passengers. I moved to New York in 2017, and I immediately understood it was a very special place for me. It was intoxicating. My process began under New York. From the wide avenues of Manhattan, as I left street level, down the steps to enter the bowels of this great city, the subway, the effect was jarring to say the least. It delivered me back into the realm of obscurity. I could have been anywhere or nowhere in the world, it didn't matter. We all understand the great utility of the subway. People must go from point A to point B no matter what. But as the American author Ralph Waldo said once, life is a journey, not a destination. When we go underground, from human beings, we become these silent, gloomy cyborgs, eyes glued to our screens, senseless and tired, almost an auto-response behavior to zoom away from what's around us before we finally resurface. So my project, the Subline, is divided into two ideas. Firstly, the bicycle, an underground rail cycling device, which lives exclusively underground. And secondly, a modular rail platform thought for pedestrians. Together, they create a space called the Subline. The rail pavement is thought for pedestrians to walk freely on abandoned rails. This floor is a modular system hooked to rails according to circumstances. The system on the bottom has a rail profile dent which snaps to the rails, locking the pavement. Good lighting, especially where light is absent, is of fundamental importance, not only to deter crime, but also it plays a really important role psychologically. This is where the idea of combining a pavement that would generate energy through the footsteps of people began. And then the other side of my project, and the most challenging, was the rail cycling device. When I began designing this bicycle, fundamental aspects for me when designing was compactability, movability, and stability. An important factor to consider was this protruding arm, very clustering and quite an aesthetic that almost all rail bicycles had in the past. I wanted something to be transformable from visible to invisible and vice versa. Being a bike which is made for the underground is public. New York City Bike and the MTA could become one, giving the opportunity of this big success of public bike sharing moved from above ground to underground. All in all, New York City has an incredible real estate infrastructure completely left to degradation with great potentialities. Investors, engineers, and designers are already exploiting some of these spaces and similar ones with beautiful creations. And some have the potential to change the future of metropolis forever. Thank you.